Hello everyone, I've been asked a couple of times now if I can detail some of the things that I've done to my Ruger 1022 and some of the things that I may wish to do, bearing in mind that I'm based in the UK and some things are a little bit more difficult than others. Again, I've been asked about the cost of some of these things. Things like the stock and gun parts in general really are very expensive in the UK. So I'm going to detail the prices that I paid in the UK and give equivalent prices in US dollars, just so that you have an idea of how we get ripped off over here. The main gun itself, the Ruger 1022 I bought, was a deluxe model, so it didn't have a barrel band on it. In the UK here, that costs £355, so that's about $560. I believe that most of the American people can buy a Ruger in the likes of Walmart for as little as $300. The very next change was to fit a Boyd Evolution SS stock, which in my opinion is a very nice stock. I love it. I like the coloration that I've got on this one. It's a sort of pinky red with yellow and then the natural wood finish in there. It is truly ambidextrous, so it's got a palm swell on each side there. Nice grooving for your finger to go through there. Nice cheek piece up here. It really is a very comfortable stock. It's very easy to hold. It allows the barrel to free float. Plenty of videos on YouTube about the stock on its own, so I'm not going to go too in depth there. The next thing I did was to replace the charging handle or bolt handle. That's a Volquartsen extended handle. In the UK that costs £47.50, which is about 74 US dollars. So not a cheap addition. I've seen some American websites and in reality they cost just a few dollars. The next thing I did was to fit the Volquartsen TG2000 trigger. Now that in the UK cost £280, which is about $450, give or take a little bit. Whilst it is very expensive in my opinion, it's been one of the best single changes I've made. It really is very crisp. I've weighed the trigger weight a few times now and it comes in at about £2.13 ounces. There is no pre-travel on it. It was all adjusted in the factory. It comes with the Volquartsen extended magazine release and it has the auto bolt release, so I'm very pleased with that. The scope, I've been asked a few times what that scope is. That's a Nikko Sterling, so it's at the budget end of the market. This one's a 4-12 with a 50mm objective adjustable lens for parallax, and it does have illuminated reticles in both red and green. In the UK that costs about £75, so in the region of about $100 for that. I got a BX25 magazine, which is very good, but again in the UK about £35 for that, which is, let me just have a look, about $53 in the US at the moment. Things that I haven't done yet that I'm considering is putting a different bolt in there. I'm not sure whether it's worth doing that. That's going to be somewhere in the region of about £300, so again about $500 just for a bolt. Things that we can't change easily because of UK laws, and I'll explain the firearms license shortly, is the barrel and the receiver. The receiver primarily because that's the serial number part and that goes on our gun license. Again, the barrel, because you need permission from the police in the UK to buy a spare barrel, so whilst there's lots of very good barrels out there on the market, and I quite like the Volquartsen carbon one, I can't just go out to the shop and buy one. And again, about $500 for a barrel. Now, one of the things that makes changing these parts very difficult is in the UK we have firearm certificate. On this, as you'll see, the police have authorised me to buy a 2.2 sound moderator, and I'm only allowed to have one of those. Caliber 2.2 rifles, I'm only allowed to have 3 of those, and then when it comes to ammunition, 2.2 caliber, and I'm allowed to hold 1,500 rounds at any one time. Each time you buy a rifle, that gets entered on the back of a license. Okay, so because of the gun license, and the fact that in the UK the receiver is a restricted item, and that's partly because that's the part with the serial number on it, and again the barrel is a restricted item. What you have to do is apply to your local police authority and ask them to put on your license, say, a 2.2 barrel. You'll have to prove good reason for wanting that 2.2 barrel, or 2.2 receiver. Again, you'll have to prove good reason for wanting that. They will then either approve or decline that request. They put that on your license. You have to pay a fee for that, which is probably, I think it's about £26, about 36 US dollars, just to have that permission granted. Then you go out and you buy one of those items, and you can then put it on your gun. The trouble is, if you decide you don't like that item, you can't just go out and buy another one, because that has then been entered on your license, so you're pretty much stuck with it unless you can find someone else that has permission to take that item. Another reason for these restrictions, particularly on the receiver and the barrel, is that if you go out, like I have, I've bought the stock, a trigger, considering the bolt, the only thing that I would need to do then really is buy a receiver and a barrel, and I've got a complete new rifle out of spare parts, and I may not have permission to hold that rifle, so that's why those are restricted. So I don't know where I'm going to go next with this. If any of you have any feedback on replacement bolts, I'd like to know what your feelings are on them. I've seen the Volquartsen unit. Looks very nice, but not read very much about it. So I'm interested if any of you have any feelings on any of these parts. Let me know. If you've got any ideas for improvements of the receiver and barrel, I'm willing to listen to those. So please do get in touch.